Hello everyone, Rare Model Reviews here, and today we have the Master Grade 1/100 scale Guncannon. So this is a very old kit. This thing is like almost 20 years old. However, this was, in my opinion, the turning point for Master Grades. And when I say that is basically going back in history, anything from the Guncannon forward is going to be pretty solid. Now anything from, or should say anything before the Guncannon back, it's a little iffy, if not just straight up bad. So this thing is one of my favorite suits of all time, first and foremost. I'm going to go ahead and say it's one of my holy grails, or was one of my holy grails. Now that I have it, it's not so much. But it took me a while to get this thing. When I finally did it, definitely didn't disappoint. Now, I don't want to say too much because that's already kind of spoiling my verdict of the kit. But rambling aside, we're just going to go ahead and get into articulation. So the head kind of turn, actually no, yeah, straight up can turn 360. I don't think I really tried. But yeah, very good. Look up as well. No forward and back. Head kind of rocks side to side. The cannons here up and down to about right here. Shoulders 360. Move out about here. Not very good arm bitten, however. It's most it can move. Hand is on a ball joint, so spins about 360. An old school 3-1 in the thumb fingers. And they're also very stiff, which isn't a bad thing because this kit overall, again, how old it is still pretty stiff. I had this thing about 10 years. And as you can see, it is still pretty solid here. Front armor here. I believe these were individually separate. I don't think I had to modify them, but as you can see there, jeesh. There's almost no movement on the side armor there. Back armor surprisingly does move up and has a little peg here to lock it in place as well. Doesn't really do, but it's there. Now the leg can open up here, but that's not for articulation. It's actually for accessory I'm going to go into later. And one cool thing I love about the knees is they have like these little grills here. Not sure what these are for, but they look awesome. And as you can notice, I linked this thing up quite a bit. Ankle movement here, pretty good. A little bit of rocking side to side, not much, but for how big and bulky this kit is, it has a surprising amount of articulation, in my opinion. So going on to accessories, it has these micro missile cannons. I'm not sure if I actually showed this thing move down, but yeah. I also want to point out, like the insides of the cannons here, the gray, just so they can pop out a little better. And speaking of popping out, we're going to go ahead and pop these things out. As you can see, it has these little pegs here, the poly cap inside here. So you just put these in. Now, one thing I want to note is I actually broke one of the cannons here, this one right here. So be careful with this, the cannons, if you decide to pick this guy up. So I have to really, gingerly put these things in because I do not want to break this thing on a reveal. I already had to glue it once. So I'm not going to put that thing all the way in, but it's a bit more restricted than the other. Oh boy, that's not good. What I was trying to avoid. And it happened when the cannons broke, so I have to glue that later, so that's fun. Wow, pieces broke on me on a review. Nice. Try to show off a little bit of articulation. It snaps off. I don't know how that happened. I guess I'm gonna try to move it too much force. But trucking on here, we have the beam rifle. So you can see how the little scope here can move. This comes molded in a clear yellow, much like the visor. It's molded in a clear green. Forgot to mention that. So this fits right into the hand, pretty solidly at that. See, no drop issues or anything like that. And when I was mentioning before, these little racks on the side armor can open up. And if you can make that out, there is a grenade hidden on both sides. Now getting them out is a little tricky. So I'm going to get my tweezers here. See if I can pop this thing out. Hopefully without it flying. There we go. Actually, I don't think I even needed to do that. It moves out a little bit more than I thought. But you just put that in the hand here. It's molded in gray. It's actually supposed to be like a red, white, and blue. Believe it only used the grenades in the third movie, not in the show. But this thing, again, it's an older kit. This is before they even had action bases, so you will not be able to find an action base that this thing will be compatible with, unfortunately, as far as I know. Maybe the newer ones are. But we have some size comparisons here. We have the Gundam Origin there, which is a little bit taller. And then we have the Unicorn, which of course towers over both of them. And then we go over, oops, didn't mean to knock them over. We have the Guncannon 2 once again. And of course, he's a high grade 144 scale, so he just dwarfs him. And the same for the Stark Jagan. And then, just for kicks, go ahead and throw in the high grade Sazabi in here as well. Move him back, move him forward. And high grade Sazabi, which is a pretty big guy, he's almost as tall as the Guncannon. But I think that is just about enough here. There's not much else to show off this guy or do. Now, while I'm talking, I actually probably do some poses and show you guys what this guy's capable of. And wow, that's actually never happened. The hand popped off like that. But yeah, again, this is an older kit, but at the same time, this is what I said before was one of the turning points for Gunpla, in my opinion. So you can more or less do everything you want with the Guncannon that he did in the show, at least. Of course, since it's older and the pose ability is not amazing compared to some of the newer stuff, it's going to be a little limited. But it kind of get him in a prone position. You can't quite have him look up. So I guess if you do a bit of a push-up, you kind of get him a bit facing forward. But again, like I said before, be careful with the cannons. As you just seen on camera, I broke off one of the shoulders there, so now I'm gonna have to glue that thing in, which I was afraid of. If you guys were curious, it was actually, like I said again, this side was what broke. Now the other side broke, so it's two matching broken sides. But besides the fact that something just literally broke on me on camera, I still hold a very high opinion of this kit. It's still pretty solid. Like I said, it's not very loose. I built this thing about 10 years ago. Look at that. Like nothing's wobbling. It's very solid and intact. Again, it's an older kit, so it's very simple. This thing, I don't even believe has an inner frame. It might have a little bit of one in the legs. Honestly, after I just broke a piece off, I don't even know if I want to try to take anything off and show it off. But like I said, I think I've gone on enough with this review, so I'm just going to wrap up this by saying thank you guys so much for watching. This is Rare Model Reviews here. Like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in for more next time. Take care, guys.